You can say what you want about The Mandalorian, but in my opinion, I believe it's pretty mid. It's middle tier entertainment. And that's just not good enough when it comes to Star Wars. It was okay the first time, that first season of The Mandalorian, which felt like a return to form because, well, what happened? We sat through an entire sequel trilogy that was awful, and a lot of people were writing Star Wars off. And then the first season of The Mandalorian came out, and it did feel like a return to form. Felt like old traditional Star Wars. People were excited. Then season 2 came out. Luke Skywalker showed up at the end and blew everybody's minds. Like, wow, this is the Luke Skywalker that we've all wanted. Where has he been? You know, we had Jake Skywalker in The Last Jedi, and he's finally back. And a lot of people were going insane, like, this is the return of Star Wars, and they're gonna retcon things. And then Book of Boba Fett came out and confirmed what the showrunners of all these shows have been saying since the beginning, that all roads lead to the sequel trilogy. And of course, they also threw away all that goodwill from the end of The Mandalorian because they don't want to separate Grogu and The Mandalorian. They want to have them together. So that big moment where Luke comes and gets him was thrown away for a actually not even garbage tier season. That Book of Boba Fett was pure shit. And then Kenobi, pure shit. Tremendously damaged Star Wars. Star Wars has been damaged for a long time. I would argue that it's gonna take a long time for this, if it even can, rebound from what it's been through. I don't think there's any saving it. Like, Mandalorian Season 3 comes out. What happens when they do this? Well, they have We Love Gina Carano trend with The Mandalorian Season 3 because they thought it would be a smart idea to try and address that and say, oh, well, she's off with special ops, so you're not going to see her again. And then the scores are kind of low. 81%. This might drop as the season goes forward. 86% from critics. The IMDb ratings are low. And this looks like a poor man's Swamp Thing, I got to be honest. But this video is not totally about The Mandalorian. What I want to talk about is how Disney has ran their shit into the ground so hard it's starting to affect other things. Because Star Wars has been damaged beyond belief. Marvel has been damaged beyond belief. And it's starting to affect other companies that depend on these brands for their businesses, like Funko Inc. You know Funko Pops? Those fun little toys or figures with the big heads that everyone loves. I think they're also kind of cute. They're basically this generation's Beanie Babies. Really, that's what they are. Let's be honest about it. I have a couple of these, not a lot. I've got like 5 or 6 of them that I bought a long time ago. And that's kind of where I stayed. But some people go absolutely crazy over these things. Some people have tons of them. Now, right here in their new releases, it's all Dragon Ball characters. But their bread and butter is, of course, the brands they put right at the front here. Harry Potter, Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, DC. The Office is kind of weird. And then as you go down, you see the other stuff. They've had to branch out to other stuff like cartoon classics, stuff like that. The reason that they have to do that, well, the Disney stuff isn't doing very good for them anymore. In fact, things have been so bad. I mean, you can look at it right here. This is 1 month. Let's look at 1 year. You can see in November 3rd, 2022, they had a tremendous crash from $20 a share down to $7.92, and it's since rebounded as of today to $9.44. But they're in a bad spot. In fact, and this is a really bad sign that this trend might be over, it's cheaper for them to throw out $30 million worth of Funko Pops than trying to sell them. So they're just going to take a tax write-off instead of trying to sell these things. Similar to what I think David Zaslav did. Remember when he stopped, when he was pulling Batgirl and shit off of HBO Plus? Or HBO Max, I'm sorry. So many of these things. He pulled all of those off of HBO Max and stopped production of movies and stuff like that. That was done for tax write-off reasons. And they're just going to throw these Funko Pops away. It's going to write them off. We can't sell them. This is bad. This signals to me that this is the end of the pop generation. Like, I think these are finally dying out. And to be fair, how many of these can you have? 485 of these things? How many different versions of Grogu can you take? Now, I'll admit, I like some of them. Like, I think this Trunks one, this kind of speaks to me because I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. I think that's cool. Trunks with the sword. I like this little shin here. But what do you do with them? They take up a lot of space over time, especially if you're really into collecting these. I don't think they really have much value. I tried to look up like how much some of these, like, after they got a print are worth, and it's not that much. I think Beanie Babies, when they were super popular, had more of a return. But let's take a look at this a little bit. The company that makes Funko Pop collectibles is in so much trouble, it's preparing to throw hundreds of thousands of its pop culture-inspired figurines into the garbage. Funko revealed the plans in a recent earnings call filled with so much bad news, its stock fell off a cliff the next day. That's really bad. Inventory at year-end totaled $246 million, an increase of 48% moved a year ago, the company wrote in a press release on Wednesday. This includes inventory that the company intends to eliminate in the first half of 2023 to reduce fulfillment costs by managing inventory levels to align with the operating capacity of our distribution center. This is expected to result in a write-down in the first half of 2023 of approximately $30 to $36 million. Translation: Funko's warehouses are overflowing with 5-inch chibi replicas of Machine Gun Kelly, Spider-Man, Pikachu, and every vaguely famous cultural icon, and throwing them out will be cheaper than trying to sell them. During a call with investors, CEO Brian Mariotti said a new distribution center in Arizona was so full that the company has been bleeding cash renting shipping containers to hold all the excess inventory. So it's not looking very good for this company. There's some speculation in here about how they had a run up during the COOF period where everyone was locked down and had extra money. That happened in a lot of collectible markets, particularly the comic book market. I like collecting comic books. Old comic books. I don't collect any modern books. I like, the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, some 80s, but mostly blue chip comics. These are comics like a first Spider-Man or a first Hulk, like big firsts. Those don't depend on the speculators market. Like a first Incredible Hulk is always going to be worth something because it's a big, iconic pop culture character. It might not be as worth as it is, as much as it is right now, but, there's a lot of factors in that too. But it's a big moment. It's a low print run because they don't know. There's not 100,000 issues of that laying around somewhere. But Funko Pops, they don't really have, is there a blue chip Funko Pop? It really runs on the speculators market, as does comic books as well. The modern books run on speculators market. So you have these people that think, well, this might go up in value to this, and then, of course, churns a rush of people running out to buy them and buying them at high prices, and then eventually they crash. For an example, if you wanted to get, I'm just taking this back to comics, if you wanted to get a first appearance of Scott Lang as Ant-Man, I think it's like Marvel Spotlight or Presents number 5, and it's a picture of Ant-Man, Scott Lang on the cover with a magnifying glass over him. It was a hot comic for a minute. Would have cost you a couple $100 to get that book in a 9 just over a year ago. But now that movie has ran its course and bombed at the box office, you could get that book for about $100 now in a 9. That's what happens with the speculator market. Now that seems like it's kind of crashing on collectibles for Funko Pops here. It's happening in comics too, by the way. Like, the prices were also insane during 2021, and those have come back down to reality as well. So, over the long run, 99% of Funkos are worthless outside of whatever depraved Joy fans get from occasionally making eye contact with the ones lining their shelves. And now a ton more of them appear to be heading for a landfill somewhere in Arizona. I wonder if people will go pick that landfill, by the way. You know somebody will. So, a little bit harsh there from Kotaku, but not of an untrue assessment. I've really never got it, but I do understand this is just a Beanie Baby craze. That's what Funko Pops are. And like Beanie Babies, they're going to go out of style too. And I think a lot of this was accelerated by the fact that these brands just aren't doing very well anymore. I mean, no one's really excited for Disney's, look at what's happening with Peter Pan. Look what's happening with Marvel, Star Wars. A lot of these brands are just in the toilet right now. And that affects stuff like this too. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.